Well, good day. I'm here today with Ian Hurdle, founder and director of the agency here in Turks and Caicos, and what I call is the hardest working man in real estate. And today we're going to be talking about the great report that you put out on a quarterly basis, the market report here in Turks and Caicos. And I'm actually going to link in the link below, I'm going to link in the description below, and talk about what it is and what's involved in it. So when people read the report, Ian, what are they going to get from that?
Okay, well, first, thank you for having me, Marty. I appreciate it. Obviously, education is an important part of building a relationship. You want people to feel confident that there are professionals that they're dealing with or looking for in any market. And obviously, our approach is to educate first, always. We are in a market right now and have market conditions that are very different to anything that many of us have experienced going back to before the recession. It was probably the last time we've had a boom of this nature, and I think it's important to relay what's happening in a professional format that people can easily follow, easily read, understand, and from that draw their own conclusions and assessments, whether it's the right time for them to invest, and obviously reach out to us, hopefully, as the people that provided that education.
Perfect. This has been nothing but an abnormal last year and a half. How does that play into the report, and what is the effects, and what did you see from this crazy time?
Well, again, I mean, if we were sat here a year ago, we wouldn't have been smiling, looking at each other right now. It was doom and gloom. When is the lockdown going to end? How is this all going to play out? What is our government going to do? How are we going to respond? What does the future hold? None of us had a crystal ball. We could all take guesses, but there was no assurances. And obviously, we are delighted to report that our government at that time did an incredible job of getting the country back on track, opening up the portal, making it easy and safe for people to come in and obviously experience something that maybe historically they had visited for a vacation, but now looked at in a different light in terms of what's happening globally and thinking about family and the value of time and that time being a luxury. And I think that's been the real catalyst of what's happened. Q3 was a little slow, but coming into Thanksgiving, I mean, bags under the eyes, we haven't stopped. Any real estate agent that's worth their salt at the moment is effectively a zombie running on empty. So I think to answer your question, it's just been an unexpected perfect storm that's created all of this want, all of this demand, desire for our product.
Yeah, it's amazing to think where we've come from. I remember those times when it just started. We design, build, and manage condos and beach villas, and it's amazing to me to think where we were and where we are now. Yeah. As you say, the island is absolutely booming. Yeah. And it's a nice place to be right now. What are the numbers? What's the statistics from quarter of this year versus quarter of last year, and maybe even the quarter before?
So the quarter last year, Q2. As we know, our government again did a great job with the stamp duty incentives.
Right.
So the numbers are not skewed, but obviously that was a great catalyst for a lot of business in a time where you wouldn't otherwise have expected a lot of business. We were all stuck at home, we couldn't get out, we couldn't show property. Obviously as a brokerage, we proved that we were a little bit creative. We had the 3D tours on file, we had great video. We were very active on social media, so for our particular brokerage, we were able to adapt very easily. So again, I mean, the number of sales transactions last year actually exceeded this year, but it's the price points that have gone up, certainly through Q1 of this year. And again, that's a direct result of shrinking inventory, sellers recognizing the value of what they have and digging their heels in accordingly. And obviously, I think the last number that we looked at was that list to sale is 91% closing versus list price, which is a very high number. We've seen some deals at full ask, we've seen a lot of cash closings. We obviously have attracted a demographic of very ultra high net worth individuals that know exactly what they want, can afford to pay what they want, and are doing it. And obviously we're all, as agents, benefiting accordingly as long as we're giving, as we discussed at the start, that education.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like Turks and Caicos has really become kind of a haven for people to come down to, and they feel safe that the government's done a good job with all the quarantine and the lockdown provisions.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, even the portal it's easy for travelers to come into. I'm curious because I know you've got a keen eye on other Caribbean islands. I know you're involved in Anguilla and some others. How has Turks and Caicos done relative, and why is it done how well it's done compared to other islands?
Well, it was, I mean, to answer that question, you look at the success that we were having before COVID, and obviously coming from recovery from Hurricane Irma, and obviously a dead market for 6 months. But the understanding that compared to a number of other key destinations in the Caribbean, that we were fully recovered within 6 months versus 18 months, and that our market rebounded accordingly. You look at the accessibility coming out of the US, the major flight hubs, again, recognizing with tourism the return on investment with the right investment, villa or condos, as you mentioned, that your particular forte. So all of that was on an upward trajectory before COVID. It was really just the mindset of going from return on investment, which obviously in Turks we have less restrictions in terms of renting Airbnb, VRBO versus many other Caribbean islands. Ease of access, as I said, I've traveled all around the Caribbean extensively, as you know, and every Caribbean island will tell you they have the best beach in the world and they have the best restaurants in the world, and the reality is traveling many of them, and there are some superb beaches and restaurants, we really have a very special offering and so much closer relatively, which I think is even more valuable in the current climate, given how difficult it is to travel. You want to know that within an hour 15 from Miami, 3 hours from New York, you can be where your second and third, fourth home is. And again, now that our tourism is rebounding, Glenmara is showing 100% occupancy as an example. Awesome. You're back to seeing the benefits of what we were seeing driving success before COVID, now coupled with the fact that people have got that escape, they've got that privacy, and they've got that luxury that we spoke about, that family and time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a great time to be here and to build, as you mentioned, the inventory of villas, condos, land is shrinking significantly. I mean, as a person who designs and builds homes, it's an exciting time because I know that if you have a lack of inventory, there's going to be a requirement for more build, which is exciting. And then people have the opportunity to actually build their own custom home. Yeah. Tell me, post-COVID, give me your crystal ball. What do you see after we get through this period? What's going to happen after that?
Well, thank you so much for the crystal ball question. Again, going back to what's happened historically, the value of the products, the accessibility. Okay, we've got one active canal listing in Leeward right now. Wow. You can't convince sellers to part with land on Long Bay Beach without paying astronomical sums, and even then they're digging their heels in. So promo is going to be about, for me and you as an architect designer would be able to speak to this, if you can't get beach and true waterfront, what's the next best thing? When you're looking at elevation, you're looking at views, what's going to drive rental traffic, that sexy marketing, infinity edge pool, looking out over, beach access or as close to beach access as you can get. So I think, especially once we start to see Canada open up, the Brits coming back in, more Europeans coming in that don't have private jets. Mm-hmm. I think for Provo's development, I think you can see strong activity in that sector, and I still think it will be predominantly villa-based because the profit margins are there and people will still be pandemic shy. They still think that there could be another variant or there could be another virus, so I think people will be a little bit more cautious moving forward on that basis. And although we're seeing a recovery on condos, I still think it'll be the villa sales that will drive the market. And obviously the start of that, as you know, is land sales. Mm-hmm. And your job there. And I think we're going to see, as I already am, closing multiple transactions right now, I think we're going to see interest in the outer islands, specifically North Caicos as an example right now. If you're a kiter, And you've seen on my Instagram feed, you know, there's a lot of drive at the higher price points because of people's want to kite. You know, we can't afford $4.5 million for a 2-acre parcel on one day, but we could afford $350,000 to $500,000 on Whitby. And in this climate, maybe the infrastructure is not the end of the world if it's not there, because we've got plenty of money and we can afford our private chef, and we can send somebody shopping on the boat, and we get to do what we love at a more affordable price point. So I think you're going to see, whether COVID truly ends, whether it drags on, whether there's a new virus, whether there's a new problem, there's always something that affects a small island, you know, a major hurricane, whatever it might is. I think we've shown resilience throughout all of this, and I think, again, the value of our products and although we talk about shrinking inventory, that shrinking inventory is really specific to just Provo. There's plenty of inventory on the outer islands, and that's still Turks and Caicos.
Great, perfect. Well, thank you for this, and thank you for your time, Ian.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Hope to do it again soon.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for listening. If you like our videos, feel free to subscribe and click on that notification button so you don't miss any more. And if you like it, give a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put your comment below and we'll engage and interact with you. Happy to. Also, if you're looking at actually building your beach haven in Turks and Caicos, we have a free resource called a Project Planning Guide. So download it at the link below. Thanks again. Take care.